So Pat fusses around with some welding brace or whatever it is, and he's firing on it and firing on it. I thought he was going to catch my bench on fire out here. It was so hot, but nothing was working.
Don't want to heat up too much. You can always try it again, you know. Lance has a skill which I don't have, where he's able to paint these embossed letters really well.
Patrick saw this first today and he said, "Oh look, we should have filmed this in October." Boo! Hello and welcome back. This is Shop Adventures number 14. Hi, I'm Lance. That's Patrick back behind the camera. Today's topics, well, before I get to those topics, we got a few shout outs to make. People are starting to recognize us on YouTube. That's a high honor to come from fellow YouTubers. But there may be even one higher honor that I didn't understand about what would happen when you launched a channel. Because up until now, we spent the last couple of decades living in a little remote rural desert town where the sand blows by, and and until we raised a YouTube flag to catch some of that sand, it would just blow by and nobody knew about us. So we're proud to be here, and we're proud to have fellow YouTubers. So we have a shout out to two of our fellow YouTubers before we get to a very special elementary school aged friend of Patrick's. Okay, well, one of our friends is Vernon over there at Mature Patriot. We really like Vernon a lot. He's good to us, very, very nice to us. I believe he's in Tennessee, and he does some really neat little work. He doesn't care what it takes, he gets it done, okay? But he's got one problem. His wife, he keeps working on his wife's kitchen table, and I'm gonna tell you something. One day she's gonna put her foot down with him. I can't believe she hasn't. What he's doing is he's pounding and beating on that tabletop, and what's going on is it's got one of them pretty table doilies on it, that have Thanksgiving, like apparently dinner all set up, and there's a little doily there, and he's just pounding away over there. And I said, "Oh, that's not gonna go over well, Vernon." Okay, that's my shout out to Vernon. His channel is gonna be in the link below. Another link below is to another friend, and he was cutting a fousey the other day, and I'm busy watching him like I do watch all these friends of ours, our fellow YouTubers. And he's cutting a fousey, which is a chain driving or chain timing unit for a clock, basically. So obviously you can see why I'm watching him, because we're clock and watch people from a circle of people on YouTube, and we just have a really good time. And all of a sudden I hear this discussion about bluing, and he had seen this bluing job being done over at a place called Active Atom. Well, Active Atom, well, that's us. I said, so that's pretty neat. So I said, okay, how neat of him. So anyway, his channel is Robert T4522, and I'm assuming his name is Robert. I don't know that for sure, but anyway, he's doing a nice little segment. He talks about the bluing, shows a nice part. I believe it's a crank he did in bluing, on cold bluing like we've done in our video, and he learned it from there, or saw it from there. I shouldn't say he learned it, but I knew. Anyway, so that's my shout out to our two fellow YouTubers, and really glad to be a member of the community. And now my last final shout out for the day before I get into the actual topics of what we're doing this week is to our friend Joel and his darling wife, Rochelle. They live over in a neighboring town, one of them bigger cities. We live out in the desert, but they got that fancy city there. Along with that fancy city, I found out he's not just being a nice friend of Patrick's to watch our videos. He was just up here with his fine wife, and they came to have lunch with us. I think they make like visitors 4 and 5 that have ever been to see us at our home business here. And so anyway, he has one of them big fancy 4K flat panel television sets up on the wall, and he watches us on that. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, that's probably not something that I was hoping you would do. You're probably going to see all our flaws and our details around here. So anyway, stick to your computer screens, everybody. We look better there anyway. Okay, well, that's all my shout outs. Let me get into the topics for the week. As Shop Adventures 14, we are going to cover this week. I know another machine is falling into my hands. It has to be caught up. I'm not doing a rebuild. We're not doing a rebuild. We're doing a refurbish. That means it's more work than a rebuild for the way we do things around here. We're getting some bluing done, changing all the bearings and doing the usual stuff. I share all that in the shop there. And that's a German made, I know, German again. But listen, it just happens to be Levin, as I say in the video, later on here, you're going to find out Levin never made a tapping machine. We have everything Levin's ever made, but we don't have that tapping machine. We have their drill press, but we already have the little micro drill press, the little green one. Now we're going to be building one. In fact, speaking of all that, Patrick's going to give you an update. He's going to give you an update about the Flume motor. Okay, and then after he gives you the Flume motor update, he's going to finally share. We've been talking about them Levin Instrument Lathes, but I've never seen them, huh? I've seen some parts laying around and what have you. So he's going to give you an update on the details, what it really takes to build the headstocks on these and how tight the tolerances are and how they perform. And again, I've told you in last week's video, I believe it was, we are throwing a drill press from Levin in on the deal, so it's going to be these two instrument lathes and that drill press from Levin, and I'm real proud of these because these are big base machines for the product we're making. So these are what we need: the drill machine, we need the tapper, the German tapping machine, but we really need these lathes to turn the product that we're going to make and offer through our online store eventually. I don't know, maybe next year sometime. Okay, so Pat's going to give you a little lecture there. I think that's going to be about it. So what I would like to do next is go ahead and let's go out and see Pat and talk about a Flume motor and give you some details there. And I think he's going to update you on the Levins, and we'll go from there. Okay, so thank you. Join us. Have a good time. Bye.
Okay, let's see what Lance is up to today.
Hey, hi, welcome back. He says you're going to stop by out here. We're going to go over a few things. It's time for a little bit of an update along the progress report for the week here. Okay, I want to give a little update on some things that's going on. We're always fussing around rebuilding some machines. What's going on? Well, here's what it is. We've been running these machines, doing work for other people for a very long time. Now that we're going to start making our own product, it was time to stop. Actually have the time because we're not being pressed for schedules as much, but we still need to get a product to market, and we're going to build our own product. So this was a big deal to us. In front of me today, I have a German, I know, I have another German machine. Look, Patrick buys these things, not me. I'm lucky I'm allowed to touch them. So, and Levin didn't make one, unfortunately, or we would have it. This is a German-made one. Pat's going to put up a name of it on the screen because there's no way in the world I'm going to speak that kind of German. It's like 4 words with a big U in the middle. I have no idea. No disrespect. This is a micro tapping machine. This is the head of it. He'll put a picture of the machine up as I took it from him to begin the process of restoring it. We're not painting it. We're just gonna polish up some things with some Scotch-Brite. We're gonna replace all the bearings. We got these out. These are old fag bearings. They haven't made these for a very long time, so these are obviously pretty close to damn near originals. So it was time. We've pushed it for all it's worth, and of course we're making our own new product here. So we want to make sure our machines are going to do the absolute best drilling, like the micro drill, and the absolute best tapping. Remember, all these old machines we're fixing up, they are going to make the product we're going to be offering through our website probably in the next year, 2019. No rush. We're just having a good time right now, getting to know people on YouTube and enjoying the rebuilding of all these machines. So this is what happens. Things come to me. Patrick gives me the project. I start disassembling. Bearings are popped out. Parts are everywhere. Bearings are on order. It's really amazing. Back over here. Here's the drill. Here's my drill base plate. That goes on the column there. This is my big base plate. Of course, you know what's going to happen here, huh? See these 3 holes? I'm going to mount this to another one of those fabulous cutting boards, they call it, although I like to call it a work table board. One of these small boards again, another 12 by 18. It actually fits. I'm waiting for it to come in. I'm going to put the little rubber feet again like we always do. And I'm going to give this machine back to Pat, tapping perfect holes. We ran into a new problem. It's not new. It's happened to us before, but we get into these spindles. Let me come back to Pat here in the spindle. It's got this quick chuck on the front. We've disassembled. It's all unscrewed. You think, oh, wow, just knock it on out of there, no problem. Oh, I know. Let's use this like a puller and smash it till this thing pops off. We've been here before. Here's what's going to have to happen. This is machined. There's a step in here. It's not going to come out this way. So it all has to come out backward. The only way to do that is to take this off. We have all those pullers, as you've seen in prior videos, if you had the opportunity to see them. If not, go back and watch them. It's a pretty interesting way about how we pull the bearings on a Barker mill. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to come in and drill this front end here. And then we're going to be able to get this chuck off of here and pull this apart, and we'll start the cleaning up, rebuilding process. This is that oilite bronze bushings again. No oilers. So I guess we've just been oiling from the top all of our years, but now that we're so into this, we're trying to keep attention to it. Okay, but that's all we got there. Now, I just wanted to share another something with you. Maybe you're just not aware because all you see is a cute little 30-minute video of the two of us telling you and showing the things that we'd like to share with you. I'm going to share just one part from a Flume motor. This is one of the two brothers of motors that Patrick's rebuilding right now. In fact, we're going to go to him just real quickly for another update from him when I'm done. But here's a part for that Flume motor. He brings it out to me and it's in two pieces. So Pat fusses around with some welding brace or whatever it is, and he's firing on it. I thought he was going to catch my bench on fire out here. It was so hot, but nothing was working. This piece wasn't connecting to that piece. Nothing was happening. So he dropped back to his tried and true ways of the proper solder. We're just assuming the solder he tried to use here was probably a California approved product. So I think we used an out-of-state version, and of course it's completely perfect. Okay, so that takes about an hour for Pat to prep these two parts, get them angled perfectly, solder these two parts. We didn't film it. We probably should have.
It's also bent.
And it was bent. Yeah, it's bent all over the planet. As you can see, it's got a real unique angle to it. You think this is a lever, isn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, it's a speed control lever.
Speed control lever is probably gonna look like that.
And I'm gonna show it.
Yeah, well, he's gonna show you, so I'm gonna get it. Okay, let me go over the details. So there's an hour we got into this one little part. Now these Flume motors have more moving parts in them, and we've built a few motors in a day. I've never seen so many moving parts in a motor in my life. Then you have two of them side by side. It's just a catastrophe in there. He'll rebuild them, he'll get them built up, but I'm just amazed at how many parts went into what you don't see behind the skin of an airplane is all the structure. These motors are that way, and that's what's shocking to me. Back to this little handle. Patrick has an hour into it. Then he brings it to me. It's going to need bluing, but it's going to need, first it's been used pliers. Somebody's used pliers on it. Somebody's bent everything. So when we get all done, so another hour here. This is a 2.5 hour part right here just to get this part ready for Patrick, give it back to him. That's what we go through sometimes in a lot of these older machines. So I just want you to know what kind of work we put into these projects, because we'll only do it the right way. We won't do it at all. That's just how we are. So I just want to share that with you because you're getting to know us. And let's go off and see Pat and see what he has to share about a Flume, shall we? Thank you.
Okay, we're back with Lance. I think he forgot something.
About 2 or 3 things. You know, that's how it goes. I ramble, forget. But here we go. I wanted to share a little bit more about this tapping machine. You know, it's beautiful. And Pat's going to put the name up, but we've gone through it. But here we go. A little more. You know, and we said we didn't paint it. We did just one part. We painted one piece. It's a front cover plate. It sits in front. Just because, I don't know, we were painting German green that day anyway.
Right.
This is a motor we forgot to mention. Pat put a lot of hours in it. I found this cover in Germany, actually, from a new manufacturer. Couldn't believe it. It had altered a little bit, but it fits.
Yeah, the original was plastic, and it just cracked.
And it's a beautiful metal one.
Yeah, it's metal now. So
this motor runs on 3-phase power. Now, we're not going to run it on 3-phase power. By the way, I don't know if you know, we have 400 amp 3-phase service here. I have a beautiful Christmas tree with 3 ornaments on it, better known as 3 transformers. So we do have full 3-phase power on the property. The thing is, in this case, this motor, we're going to run it on just a single phase because we have this. We want to run the VFD, and this is going to allow us to control the variable speeds and give us the speed controls for the motor. And so we didn't need that situation here, but we wanted to let you know we do have that 3-phase power for a big future machine we plan to have and have one day. So that's what we're here working for. And did I miss anything, Pat?
No, I think that's it.
So this is everything that goes to. So this is a nice, powerful, and strong tapping machine. It may be a micro scale. It's got a lot of power. So we're really excited about it. Yeah, I'm still cleaning parts.
What are these parts here?
Well, these are idler pulleys, and these are the ones we pulled the bearings out of. It's only 3 for the belt to ride around, the famous green belt, and the fused belts. And that's what these came out of, and I'm just going to clean these up. And we got the other bearings to change and all that, but yeah, it's going to be really good. So come on along, another great machine. You'll know when I get a wood table in here that we're ready to start installing everything. So we'll get it ready real quickly, real shortly. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everybody, and we're back to see Patrick about a couple of Flume motors, shall we? Hi, Patrick.
Hi. Okay. Yeah, if you notice in prior videos, we were working on this Flume Watchmaker base. And if you notice, we did the painting, and we also did a little restoration on the parts. Like we added new handles, we made some spacers that we saw that were missing. And that's actually completed, the base itself. The last part is actually the motor, and that's what I'm working on this week. I just started today, and we're hoping to have it done in about the next day or so we can share it with you by the end of the week.
Motor, this looks more like one of those model kits. Look at all those parts.
Yeah, look at this. This is the most complicated motor we've ever worked on. Okay, this is all mechanical. There's no electronics or speed control, and it's a really unique motor. The type is a repulsion motor, and what that is, it's a single phase AC motor. And I want to kind of show you an example. This is the same type of motor. It's just the Flume is we figure about 35-40 years old. Okay, this is a newer model that you can buy today from Bergeon, and it's a multi-fix. It's made in Germany, and what makes this motor really unique is it has speed control. And what's unique about the speed control is it's done mechanically. There's no electronics in here. And what's nice is it has neutral, like here, and it has forward and reverse. Here, let me turn it on. You can see it in action. Okay, so we move it forward. Okay, and that's moving it this way. So it's moving it counterclockwise with me facing the shaft. Okay, and it goes pretty fast. I think 5,000 RPMs.
Wow.
And what's really unique about this, you think, okay, single phase AC motor is not going to have much torque, on the low RPM side. But that's what's really unique about this motor, is it has really good low end torque for low RPMs. And it's really smooth. It's a really smooth, you could hear it. It just sounds great. So there you go. And it's really easy to control. It's really nice. And the reason why there's two shafts, this shaft you would use to drive your little watchmaker lathe. Okay, and this is an accessory shaft. They make accessories, like you could attach arbors here, if you want to do grinding, buffing, and you can actually plug in a flex shaft.
Oh yeah, those are neat.
Yeah, and I'll show. We have all the accessories, so I'll have to show it to you in another video. But I just wanted to share.
Sounds like some more stuff I haven't seen around here, huh? Busted. I like this video recording. I get some confessions. It's what they call those true confessions. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to Patrick.
Yeah, so it's a really unique type of motor. Okay, but there is an interesting story about this Flume. Let's come back to the Flume. This has actually been in storage for about 15 years. We purchased it, and we ran into an incident, and it's kind of a sad story, but I wanted to share it with you. Okay, when we bought this about 15 years ago, these are the photos that the seller sent me from Germany. Okay, and as you can see, for the age of this, it's immaculate condition, just beautiful. The motor, the base, you got your little hand rest for when working on the lathe. See, the lathe is secured right here, and really nice. I mean, you could just see the close-ups. Look at the motor, just beautiful condition for its age. Okay, but the disaster came when it arrived to us. The problem is we were just devastated. The seller didn't spend any time packing it. All he did was throw all the parts in a box, threw some pieces of newspaper, some pieces of foam in there.
Well, that certainly isn't very German-like.
Yeah, and it just destroyed it. I mean, here's a picture of when we removed the parts from the box. Okay, let me show you some close-ups. I mean, you can just see it just got so banged up, and we were just literally devastated. I mean, so devastated. We just packed it back up and just put it back in storage, and we just didn't want to see it. It just, and then the other thing is the seller ignored us, so we had to file a dispute with PayPal. And fortunately, PayPal sided with us because he wouldn't respond to us, and he wouldn't even respond to PayPal. So we got our money back. But again, it just wasn't. We were just devastated. This is an old, with old devices that you just can't purchase today. This is devastating. So
But it is true though. You have to understand, out of the megatons of rare equipment and tools we have acquired for use in our own shop over the past couple of decades, honestly, it's only happened twice. Isn't that right, Pat? I believe it was this here and a real rare wall clock.
A Bulova clock.
Oh, yeah, that blue and white one.
And again, the seller didn't pack it well, and the thing just cracked. And again, a devastating experience. But for the most part, sellers really do care, and they really spend the time to pack.
Like we say, it only happened 2 times out of, 20,000 shipments?
Right, because I mean,
lucky.
we've had shipments all around the world. Germany, Switzerland, England, Russia.
You name it.
You name it. So the other thing is, so I disassembled the motor. Obviously, we actually disassembled it to paint the housing of the motor, as you can see. So it looks nice.
Well, those are all the parts I did for you too, by the way.
Yeah.
I noticed all the beautiful finishes.
Right. So Lance did the parts for me. When we were going over all the parts, there was a broken part, and what it was it's a little switch, and we don't know why it broke up. We don't know if it got brittle because of age or if it broke because of the shipping damage. But the switch actually installs in this motor like this. And when that lever is in neutral, it disengages the power to the motor. Okay, so that's the function of this. And my concern was, due to the age of this, I wasn't sure if I could get a replacement. But we were so lucky because I was able to read the manufacturer of this and the part number. And I found the actual part from a German company called Rafi. And they make this part in Bulgaria. And what's really interesting is I was really fortunate because I was able to order the part through a distributor. It's an electronics distributor called Newark, and they have this in stock in their distribution center in England. So it took a little while, but we were able to obtain a replacement. And here's the replacement. It's an exact. The only difference is the old button's black and this one's red. That's all they had. But other than that, it's identical. On a color difference there. So we were so lucky because we're actually restoring another Flume motor, which we'll show you really soon, probably this week as well. And
I think we mentioned in the last video that we were doing a pair of brothers, I think we called them.
Yeah, that's right.
They're like a set. They're adorable.
Right. Yeah. And that needed a new switch. That switch wasn't broken up like this, but it just felt worn out. And fortunately, when I purchased this, I purchased 4 of them. When you purchase something, you always purchase extras. And fortunately, I did. So I have a replacement for the other motor, and now we have 2 extras for, if we need them. So that's it. I think that covers everything. Oh, let me show you how the motor works really quickly.
Oh, yeah, do.
And just to demonstrate it, how this works, how the speed function works. Okay, so this is the piece. Okay, you've got the carbon brushes. You got 2, 1 on each side. Okay, and then this is what the brushes ride on the commutator. Okay, so I'm sorry, like this. Okay, and what's really interesting, I'm not sure how it works. You have to read up on it. It's a really interesting way it works. But by turning this, it's what controls the speed and also the direction that this turns. So it's a really interesting, and it's all mechanical how this works. So that's how that works. And let's see, I think that's about it. as you can see, it's a lot of parts for just a simple motor.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, Patrick. That'll get a lot more sense for people when these are all put together. They're going to go, oh, look, another shiny, pretty motor here. Now
Sure.
they know what's inside and what it took to make these without having one of those controllers. That's nice. Thanks, Patrick.
Sure.
Be back later.
Okay, bye.
Hey, hi. I thought we were going to jump in, give you a slight update on the German tapping machine, and you'll notice there's a big torch in front of me here. What it is Patrick we were trying to figure out how to get the Albrecht chuck out of this thing here, this little Albrecht chuck. We want to save it. We didn't know if this was screwed in or if it was taper, and Patrick did what he usually does. We always try to contact companies. We contact companies all the time. There's a couple companies that are great with us. One of them is Levin and Son, and the other one was this company here, this German company, which he'll put the name up on like we've said before.
Here's the name of the company.
Oh, here we go. Here, it's this company. Thank you. Let me get you there. There. That's who made this machine. Okay. Well, he was lucky. Last night, Patrick was contacted the company, I guess, so he's going to tell you a little bit about that. And we're going to try to use heat here. I thought he already did, and that's why I'm sitting out here working today on the parts, and he comes out with this big torch, and he's all jumping up and down. So we're going to try to get this chuck out of here, and Pat's going to explain what they sent to him or what's going on. Hi, Patrick.
Hi. Okay, yeah, what I did was I emailed the company last night because our night is Germany's morning. So I thought, okay, it's a long shot because we've contacted a lot of the companies in the past, and we get a lot of no responses, but you always have to try. So I sent them an email. I sent them a kind email. I said I have this old model of tapping machine that they made a while back. And I said, I just asked them really politely. I said, do you have any documentation, a user's manual, a parts diagram, anything to help us do some maintenance and restoration on this tapping machine? And to my surprise, checked my email first thing in the morning, and they sent me this little user's manual showing the machines and some instruction. There's some instructions in here on its use.
Oh, those are like all their machines from that era, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the guy even mentioned, he was really surprised. He was a really nice guy who responded to me, and he said, oh wow, you have an old model of ours. And he was really happy that we were restoring it. So,
oh yeah, there it is, right? I see it.
Yes.
Look at that. I haven't looked because he just printed this.
See, that's the one we own. It's the HG-2.
Well, ours looks just like it.
Nice. See, it's exactly like ours. Okay, and what was really nice was they also sent us the parts diagram right here. And one of the things I had asked him was, we weren't sure if the chuck was either a taper mount or a screw mount, and that was really important because we don't want to be tapping and pounding on this chuck if it's a screw mount, because then we'd be pretty
well, we've done it a time or two.
We'd look pretty dumb.
Yes.
So he did confirm. I believe he said it's a B10 a B10 taper, because they have their own I guess the European standards or the German standards have their own tapers, like we have the Morse taper.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a small taper. I think it's like a Morse 0 if we compare it to our Morse 1. Okay.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's tiny. Okay, and
don't be going Morse 40 over here on me.
And like Lance said, this is an Albrecht chuck. It's actually a 1/8 inch chuck. And I think we're gonna try. I did talk to the guy, and the guy mentioned in the email to be sure to remove the screw in the chuck, which I did. The screw's right here, so I removed the screw, and he said try applying heat. So this morning I did clean up really well. Cleaned up really good, put a little bit of penetrating oil, like I always try, anything helps.
Well, you completely removed that screw because I can see down the hole, so you did what he told you.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is, he said just heat it up slightly, and then let's see if it'll come out. Okay, what I'm going to do,
let's see
I'm just going to heat it up a little, I'll rotate it from up here, so I'll heat it up with the torch, and then I'm going to I'm just gonna see if I can, you know, knock it out by pulling up.
like a bearing puller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Come on, baby. Save us some time. I don't want to drill you.
Okay, so I just wanna.
I can feel me some heat.
Don't want to heat up too much.
Just snuff it.
We can always try it again, you know. Okay.
I gotcha. Go ahead and.
Oh my God, that was too easy.
Oh wow, that looks like we staged it. Yeah, sure. That never happens around here.
I'm telling you, this was on so tight. You saw me yesterday. I was out here. I was pounding on it. Boy, that was too easy.
I bet it's a little hot right now, so we won't be touching it, but that's neat. Look at that, came apart. So now we get to take the rest of the spindle out. Oh, that's what we'll go on and move on next. And
oh, good, that's not too hot.
we got bearings in there to replace too. Oh boy.
Yeah, one nice thing about the diagram is it does tell us there's 2 bearings inside these pulleys, 6,002 bearings. So, and I think that's it.
That's it, Patrick? Wow.
I'm really happy.
Congratulations on that easier job for the day.
So I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go back to my Flume motor.
Okay, and I'm back to work cleaning up this beautiful tapping machine. See you later.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, as promised, we're out to see the smart one, Patrick, on some updates.
Okay, the last video I shared with you where we have 2 Flume motors I was supposed to wrap up this week by the end of the week. And we have good news and so-so news. Okay, well the good news was actually great news is I did finish one of the Flume motors. And if Lance can come around, because I'd love to show this off.
Go.
Okay, this is the Flume motor and base. This is the one that was damaged during shipment, and I showed you guys a picture of it. And it was both of these were in really bad condition, and it just came out so good. We're just so happy with it. It runs beautiful. We couldn't be happier with it. And just to update you, okay, this setup's the one where, you know, it consists of this base, and in this base, the lathe is clamped in here, okay, and then this motor actually sits on this platform, and then with one of these bars, the bar inserts into the base, comes around, and holds the motor right here. And I think this motor, yeah, it has to go the other way. So, no, that's right. I think it's like this. I forget. Yeah, that's right. This is right. So you control the motor, and it drives the lathe, and then you have another bar with a rest, and that's like a little hand rest that helps you when you're turning. Right now, it's actually there's 2 configurations in using this, and it supports both. You'll notice is the way it sits right now with the lathe clamped.
I'm gonna go back around.
Oh, sure.
Here we go for a second, just because I see 2 of these machines here. Okay, here we go.
Okay, if you notice how this is sitting right now, if I had a lathe clamped right here, it's actually the wrong way as we would typically look at a watchmaker lathe. But that's actually, I think you call it a left-handed lathe, or it's where the headstock's on the right-hand side and you work on the left side. And a lot of the old watchmaker lathes, the D-bed lathes, guy from a long time ago, European, they were in this configuration. And I forget, there was a reason for it, why they worked in this manner. But we can actually, it works in both configurations. We can actually turn this and just use it just fine, just this way. You know, where typically we have here, you know, we have the headstock on the left side and we work on the right side. Okay, so that's, the reason why you don't see it assembled yet, I'm 100% done with this. There's nothing left for me to do, except for Lance has a skill, which I don't have, where he's able to paint these embossed letters really well. He has a good technique, and after this video, we're going to go to the machine shop, and I'm going to be filming Lance showing you guys how the process he uses to paint these embossed letters. He used to do it, the old brush, using a little paintbrush, and he'll show you that. But he has a really unique technique that he uses, and he gets the lettering so perfect.
Hey, if I gotta ask, I guess, because you know what? I noticed that there's one all assembled here, and there's what looks like one kind of exploded here.
Okay.
Two flume-looking motor things.
Okay, this is the brother we talked about earlier. Okay, this one was supposed to have been completed already. The problem is we're still waiting for the bearings. The bearings, these are the bearings, the old bearings. We were supposed to have gotten the bearings on Friday, but UPS, for some reason, delayed our shipment, and now we're going to get the bearings until Monday.
Welcome to rural living.
Yeah, so we won't. So that's why it's sitting here. Everything's completed. All the parts have been all refurbished, cleaned up, and this is a little unique. This is the same motor. So this is the exact same motor as the motor that's assembled here that you just saw. But instead of having this base, it has this little standalone base. So this actually sits in there.
Oh, it's a little house.
Yeah. And it's standalone, so you can take it and use it where you already have we'll show it to you, because sometimes we'll use a little tiny lathe that clamped into a vise. And see, that's really nice, So we'll clamp a little lathe into a vise, and then we can just carry that and just place it behind the lathe, and it's perfect.
Oh, great.
Okay. And
I know we're out here for one more thing, and I'm only asking because I get tired of being asked about it.
Oh.
And I know when we first started this channel, we did something, and I guess we got away from it. So why don't you share where we're at and where we're going? Because I'm really excited about it too.
Okay. No, you're right. In our very first video, we were talking about our Levin Instrument Lathes. We have two of them, and one is actually going to get installed here on this table, and the other ones we actually have a Levin table.
Let's try.
Want to show that?
I think I can. Oh yeah.
See, that's a Levin
That's
table.
the one we put the new top on.
That's right. So the other lathe is going to be installed there. Okay, but before we do that, next week we hope to start the rebuilding of the headstocks. Okay, and here's one of the Levin headstocks. Okay, and what's really unique about these headstocks is they're very high precision. Okay, the TIR, or the total internal runout, is 50 millionths of an inch.
Holy cow. That's a half of 1/10,000th of an inch for anyone who's counting numbers here. That's a lot of zeros before that little 5.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. Okay, so in order, that's the internal runout you get from the factory if you purchase this brand new. Okay, since we're rebuilding this, in order to achieve those same specifications, there's techniques, and we're going to share everything with you. Here I have one of the spindles. Look
at that.
It is a spindle for, let's see, a 10 millimeter D collet size. Okay. And we also have a 3C collet spindle, and also a WW 8 millimeter spindle. So
we have a lot of Levin.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing 3 headstock rebuilds, and we're going to do some rebuild on these little tiny spindles, like for our grinding spindles, for our micro drilling attachment. So we're going to be doing a lot of rebuilds, and we're going to share everything with you. But it's really it's a step-by-step process. Everything from we're going to have to take this to the surface plate, and we're going to have to mark the high spots. See, because nothing can be machine perfect. Everything's going to be a little off, regardless how high precision it is. Okay, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put these on some V-blocks on the surface plate, and we're going to have to mark the high spot of this spindle. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the special bearings we use. We use Angler contact bearings, ABEC 7s, and those have special markings, and we're going to show you how you align the markings with the markings we put on the spindle. We're going to show you the special grease you have to use. We're going to show you have to, after you're completed, you have to grind the spindles, we're going to have to grind the collet seat, and we're going to have to run a special run-in procedure.
And isn't it true that there's a lot of spindle rebuilding on YouTube, and one of the reasons we actually started this YouTube channel was to show how you do micro machine rebuilding when it comes to spindles, because it doesn't really exist on YouTube as of this date. So we're going to be that's the reason we're here.
No, you're right. There are some spindle rebuild videos, but they're all like larger machines, like a Bridgeport mill, your larger lathes. But we can't find anything at
my favorite lathe, the Monarch. Monarch 10 EE.
Yeah, that's one of our wish lists.
I have a dream.
Yeah. So we're going to be showing you a lot, and we're really excited to show this procedure off, because actually a lot of people will know about it that we've talked to, and they've been looking forward to it for a while. So
pressure's on Patrick. Can he pull it off? Can he hold those tolerances?
So that's our schedule. Our schedule is next week. We hope to start the headstock spindle rebuild process, and then once that's done, we're going to install the 2 lathes on these tables. And then after that, I think we may have a few other little things.
Well, I promised a drill press from Levin too.
Oh, that's right.
Don't forget, because to make up for us not doing the 2 big lathes yet, we thought we better throw something extra in when there was that drill press, huh?
That's right, and we're going to rebuild that little spindle.
Now, folks, try to remember, it's going to take some detailed filming and long periods of time to do a full-blown rebuild. This is critical to us. Normally, we just do some painting and we show some updates. Even though we work 100 and some odd hours a week between the two of us, we understand that we don't want to drag stuff out. Oh, we put a bolt in today, and oh, we painted this. Yeah. No. That's not what we're here for. We're here to kind of move this along. We're getting somewhere. The end result is we're gonna be building a product on these very machines to those very high standard tolerances and offering it on our website. But before we get to there, that's not what's important today. It's important that we share some of our skills and talents and leave them as they don't exist today. And so this detailed build is going to be a lengthy one from Patrick, but this is when it doesn't exist on YouTube, we'll take it and drive it all the way home, because it's important that it be documented, in our opinion.
For sure.
Okay, Patrick, you ready to go out in the machine shop and see how the real people work?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're in the machine shop now, and Lance is going to take over.
Patrick saw this first today, and he said, "Oh, look, we should have filmed this in October." Boo! Okay, now when we were in the workshop out there with Patrick, when he's talking about when I was putting the pressure on, I put the heat on him about the Levin lathes and the drill press and all that. So he thought he'd throw it back at me and tell you that I'm really, really good at this. That's a lot. That's really kind of him. I'm learning and I'm doing really well. This is my approach. It's worked for me when you're messing with two-part epoxies. You really don't get a second shot. You can wipe it off really fast, but you start messing with it, start smearing stuff. So I come up with this technique. I've seen it over the years. Before I learned to do this, I was using these micro brushes. Everything around here is micro at Active Adam. Micro, mini, itsy bitsy, tiny. Okay. And we dip the little paint on a little botcher thing, and I just do these things. Well, this was actually done by this method, and I'm going to show you. And it doesn't matter which paint it is. I don't care if it's an aerosol can. You spray it into a cup real fast and mix it up. You just dab this thing, and you can just dab this right across these letters and because it's highlighted. These highlighted castings are just fabulous for it. And this here, of course, is the Barker Engineering Company's big belt cover, manufactured in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, now I'm going to just go ahead and show you just how I do it. So here's what I do. I take this is 100% American-made cotton cloth. It's a scrap here, but it is what it is. Okay, and first thing I do is I take a pencil, I put it in, I get it started, I pull it tight. If you'll see there, I'm tight. I roll it in my fingers, roll it in my fingers, till I can get her no more there. Okay. And once I got that, I'm going to go find the pencil and get it out of there. I can take it this way. We're going to... Okay. And then I stretch it. I pull it. I Band-Aid it. few hundred times because it's only size I had. Okay, once that's done, it's tucked up. I've made you a little spooky ghost, you call it. Nice little flat, hard padded in, real hard. Let me just switch because I did that one real fast with the camera. This one's actually a little better. I like the feel better. See, it's firm, it's solid, it's tight, it's cotton 100%. It's got no fabrics or stuff coming off it whatsoever. She's completely ready to go. So let's go on over now, and I'm going to show you how I do this. I'm going to be doing a black paint today. It's just a simple can. I'm going to dip it in. I'm going to botch it a little bit. I'm going to do a little part for you, of course, from the German, sorry. This is the machine motor cover for the 3-phase power motor on it. Actually, it's that little micro drill, micro tapping machine. I'm going to do these 3 letters here, and then I'm going to turn right around. I'm going to do that Flume part and get machine part and get it back to our table and get it back to Patrick out in the workshop, okay? So let's go give it a shot, shall we?
Okay. Okay, we're back with Lance.
All right, spotlight's on me even. Okay, I got over here, got a little ahead of myself, got my paint all prepared here. I've got my little ghost, Pat's ghost, spooky, and I realized this is a high gloss finish, and so one of those little techniques that you want to do. This is a 600 grit paper. You could, you know what? You can use any paint. You can use anything. You can bake this paint on. You can not bake it on. We've baked the hard paint on here. This is just highlights and final details to finishing, and we don't usually bake it, and we don't really care which brand of paint we use, or like I said, aerosol or dip can or 2-part epoxy I've used. In the red you saw earlier was a 2-part epoxy that we used on the Barker milling machine. You have to sand these surfaces before you start when this high gloss finish. So and you can't use a sanding block because it's not flat. This isn't flat. Everything's rounded and it's just how it's cast. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to lightly sand this, and we're going to thoroughly clean this little surface just a little bit. What we're trying to do, not take too much off. Just give it a little bit better gripping surface to begin with, so that we don't experience any trouble with the paint not adhering correctly and staying on, because it needs to dry on its own within about a 24 or maybe within a 72. Depends on where you live. We live in a very arid, dry desert. Our humidity is never higher than 10% unless it's raining outside, which is 3 days a year. We do have 2 days of snow, though. We get like this, well, you guys would probably laugh at what I call snow. It looks more like something from 7-Eleven, one of them Slurpees. Mm-hmm. We don't get much, but it's a little flurry. And it gets real cold here. And other than that, it's always dry, arid, and if there's a cloud, it's raining, and then if there's rain, there's flash floods. So it's really neat living here. It's quite dramatic. We really like it. But anyway, this paint will dry a lot faster. Now I'm just sanding it, and it's going to dry faster from where we live. Say if you live in the trees or something, or, forest. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. Let's look that over real quick there. Just want to be sure. Just get one little bit there. Just want it to adhere really well, and I think we're going to wrap this up with a little paint, and it'll be okay. Okay, Patrick, let me just get that any possible little linty stuff off there with this nice American-made cotton. Okay, that's done, and I'm going to keep it out of all these spots. Okay, I am ready. Ready, Patrick?
Okay.
Okay, we're going to dip our little goodie. Little paint on there. I'm going to come down here and get rid of most of it. I just want it to adhere into that fabric there. It's into the cotton really well. This is a pretty hard wrap I did here. It's what I call a hard wrap. We're just going to run across, and hopefully, if I did good, the results will be good, and we'll be proud. Just have to concentrate, and hopefully the results will show up good at home for you, and this is kind of fun. I feel the pressure of Pat watching over my shoulder here to make sure I do good.
It's looking good.
A little bit of pressure here coming down. It's the F53 model of this Flume watch base system here. Something like that. That's how I do it, and you can see now it's highlighted. It looks elegant. It adds a little bit of more of an honor to work on it all. If you had to work on this thing all day, then you'd want to have the pleasure of having that. So I hope this has been educational for you. That's how I do it. I'm not saying there's not 50 ways from Sunday to do it. You've seen my brush approach. I've seen everything. I've seen internal maskings. I've seen a lot. So this one works best for us, and give it a try.
Oh, did you mention how many coats?
Well, no, thank you. No, and whatever it takes, but whatever you do, I give you, it's drying right now, but I give you an example. You notice I patted that down? The coats can be as light as they need to be, but what you do not want to do is put this big old gob of paint on there. It's going to run down those sides. You're going to be forced to do a really rapid cleaning with a non-aggressive liquid here that can get that off in a hurry. And typically what I've discovered is, depending on the paint, the two-part epoxy paints, one coat, you're done. Okay, but because it's just the way it is. On this kind of paint here with this apparatus, this is a two-coater. I can tell by looking at it because I can still see some yellow, a little bit of the almond through here. So thanks, Patrick, for reminding me. And I've had to do as many as 4 coats. So let's not get ourselves. Depends on what time of year it is. Depends on the color over the other color. If it's white over black, it's going to be 4 coats. We're not in a hurry. I'm not. We spend our whole day on this. Oh, by the way, speaking of nothing to do, in front of you looks like a bunch of Petri trays. Poor man's Petri trays, but they are what they are. These are part of the German tapping machine, and you'll notice that this beautiful cold bluing was done. That's how my Saturday night date went. I spent my whole night out here in this machine shop, and I blackened got all this blacking done, the bluing done, whatever you want to call it, so that we're ready to start the reassembly with brand new bearings in that tapping machine. I think this is dry enough. Pat, you want me to put the second coat on?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll watch you. More pressure.
Yeah, thanks. I hope it's looking good. I love the color combination. Ooh.
And you're just going very lightly?
I'm just barely tapping the surface. This is a hard wound. There's not much flexibility going on here below that rubber band. A little bit though. You don't want to go pushing too hard because you're going to start wrapping it down the edges of the letters, and we just want the tops, the very, very tops. And you're just making a decorative top, and it's just a pleasure to run a machine that has that kind of pride put into its final finishes. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, that is a finish.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed this week's video, and please don't hesitate to subscribe. And did you know, we really do value getting those comments. We love to answer any question you may have for us. Thank you.